My chosen child, stop right now. Do not scroll past this moment. Do not look away from these words. Heaven aligned time itself to bring your spirit to this exact intersection today. You did not stumble across this message by accident. I guided your hand to pause here because I need to speak with you immediately. You feel tired. Your spirit is weary. The weight you carry has become too heavy for your shoulders. Every single morning when you wake up, the pressure is already sitting on your chest before you even open your eyes. You push through the day with a smile. You pretend everything is fine for the people around you. But inside your heart, you are quietly breaking into pieces. I see you. I have watched you sitting alone in the dark when the house is silent and everyone else is asleep. I saw the tears you tried to hide under your pillow so no one would hear your grief. You asked me why you felt so lonely. You wondered if I forgot your name in the wilderness. Hear me right now, my beloved warrior. I never forgot you for a single second. You have fought so many battles in total silence. You sacrificed your own peace to protect others who never even noticed your sacrifice. You poured out your whole heart into hands that did not know how to hold it, and then you sat in the quiet and asked me why your kindness was constantly met with pain. You thought you were failing. You thought your faith was too weak to move mountains. But I am stepping into your atmosphere today to tell you the absolute truth. You are not failing. What you have been going through is not a sign of my rejection. The enemy targeted your life because your soul carries an immense purpose that terrifies the darkness. The attacks came because you are rising into a new authority. Pause where you are right now and breathe deeply. Let your shoulders relax for just a moment. Do not let distraction steal this holy moment from your spirit. If you feel me speaking directly to your heart in this very second, type the word AMN in the comments as a sacred seal between us. Let your action be an act of agreement with my presence. You have spent so many long seasons asking me why the promises seem so delayed. You watched other people receive their breakthroughs, while your prayers seemed to vanish into empty air. You wondered why every single door you tried to walk through slammed tightly shut. You felt like you were standing still in a foggy desert while the whole world kept moving forward without you. I know how deeply that waiting season hurt you. But listen to me with the deepest place of your heart. What you called a painful delay was actually my divine protection. I held you back from those rooms because those rooms were built to destroy your soul. I locked those doors because the people behind them were not equipped to carry the precious heart I placed inside you. I was shielding you in the dark. I was building a spiritual foundation beneath your feet that no earthly storm could ever tear down. You thought I was silent because I was angry with you, but my silence was not my absence. I was working in hidden rooms that your eyes could not yet see. I was holding back a disaster that you did not even know was coming toward your life. The enemy wanted you to believe that my silence meant abandonment. He flooded your daily mind with static and constant anxiety, so you would stop listening for my voice. He filled every quiet moment with loud doubts and heavy thoughts of hopelessness. He wanted you to believe that your story was already finished. But he is a liar. Look at me right now. Your story is not over. In fact, the most glorious chapter of your entire life is beginning in this exact hour. The long season of exhaustion that drained your hope is officially closing today. The heavy chains of fear that bound your mind are trembling right now at my command. Heaven has authorized a massive shift in your spiritual atmosphere. I am stepping in to quiet the storm inside your mind. I am going to reveal the exact reason behind every single delay you experienced. I am going to show you why certain people had to leave your life. And most importantly, I am going to unlock the door to the provision that I prepared for you before the foundation of the world was even laid. Do not rush past this moment. Do not let the busy noise of the world distract your focus. Stay right here with me until the end of this message. I have placed a specific key in your path today. If you pay attention, your spirit will recognize the truth, and your entire reality will begin to shift. You are my chosen child. I formed you with my own hands in your mother's womb. Every single detail of your life was planned with infinite love and divine precision. I saw every struggle you would face. I knew every tear you would cry, and I placed a strength inside your spirit that is greater than any weapon the enemy can ever bring against you. You were never meant to survive on your own empty strength. You were never meant to carry the heavy weight of tomorrow on your shoulders today. You have been trying to control every outcome because you were afraid of being hurt again. But today, I am asking you to surrender that control back into my hands. When you surrender, you allow my peace to guard your mind. You allow my power to fight the battles that you were never designed to fight alone. You do not have to figure out every step of the journey right now. You only need to take one step of obedience at a time. I am already walking ahead of you in the unseen realm, straightening every crooked path. Can you feel the quiet stirring inside your chest right now? That is not confusion or random emotion. That is your spirit sensing that a holy transition is taking place. Something in the unseen realm is moving on your behalf. The heavy dark clouds that covered your vision are starting to break apart, making room for my light. You have felt isolated for so long. You felt like nobody in your family or circle of friends truly understood the depth of your pain. They saw your outer strength, but they never saw your inner fatigue. They came to you for comfort, but no one ever stopped to ask if your own cup was full. I saw that loneliness, my child. I felt every ache of your heart. I allowed that season of isolation so you would learn to rely on my presence alone. I removed the earthly crutches that were keeping you dependent on human approval. I wanted to show you that human hands will always disappoint you, but my hands will never let you fall. I was consecrating you for a holy mission that requires absolute trust. You are a cycle breaker in your family line. The patterns of lack, anxiety, and heartbreak that followed those before you will not continue through your life. The generational chains are breaking with you today. You were chosen to step out of the shadows of the past and walk into the full light of my abundance and protection. Hear me clearly in this moment. The enemy tried to steal your joy because he knew what was coming next for you. He tried to exhaust your mind so you would drop your faith right before the breakthrough arrived. He knew that your prayers carry authority, and he wanted to silence your voice before you stepped into your destiny. But his time of tormenting your mind is over. I am restoring everything that was stolen from you during the long wilderness season. I am restoring your peace of mind. I am restoring your joy. I am restoring your physical strength and your spiritual clarity. What looked like a total loss to the world will become the greatest testimony of your life. Stay close to me as we walk through this message together. Open your spirit to receive the revelation I am about to pour into your heart. The fog is lifting right now. The silence is speaking, and the breakthrough you begged for in the dark is finally arriving at your door. Take a deep breath and let my stillness enter your body. Put down your worries. Put down your fears. Look at me right now, because I am about to show you what heaven has authorized for your future. You are loved beyond measure, and your victory is already secured in my name. Come closer to me, my beloved child. Let me speak softly to the part of your soul that is most tired today. I know how deeply you have been hurting. You spend your days giving your energy to everyone who asks for help. You listen to their problems with endless patience. You offer words of hope to strangers and friends alike. And when the evening comes and you are finally alone with your thoughts, you feel completely empty inside because no one ever turns around to check if you are okay. I saw you in the quiet moments when the world was not watching. I saw when you walked into your bathroom and turned on the water so no one would hear your tears. You pressed a towel against your face to muffle the sound of your crying. You sat on the cold floor and held your chest because the pain felt physically unbearable. You wondered if anyone in the whole universe noticed your silent breakdown. Hear me clearly right now. I was sitting right there beside you on that bathroom floor. I held your trembling hands in the dark. I counted every single tear that fell from your eyes. Not one drop of your grief was wasted or forgotten by my heart. You have played the role of the strong one for so many long years. Everyone in your family leans on your shoulders. They treat you like a rock that can never be shaken by any storm. But I know that your rock was crumbling beneath the surface. You were terrified that if you let your mask fall for even 1 second, everything around you would collapse into total chaos. My child, you were never meant to carry the whole world on your back. You were never created to be everyone else's savior. You are my creation, not their endless resource. You have been trying to satisfy everyone around you while completely neglecting the sacred garden I planted inside your own spirit. You have let others drain your well until there was nothing left for yourself. I know the secret exhaustion that sits behind your eyes. You are tired in your bones. You are tired in your thoughts. You are tired of smiling when you want to scream. You are tired of being the peacemaker in every room you walk into. And most of all, you are tired of fighting invisible spiritual battles while feeling entirely alone in the trenches. Let me tell you why you feel this deep isolation. You carry a rare heart that loves with pure intensity. When you give without keeping score. When you care with every single piece of your soul. But you have been giving your priceless love to people who only knew how to use your generosity for their own selfish comfort. You felt betrayed and abandoned when those same people walked away. You asked me why I allowed your sincere heart to be broken so many times. You wondered if your kindness was a curse that doomed you to constant disappointment. But I am here to reframe your perspective today. Your soft heart is not a curse. Your capacity to love is the very mark of my spirit inside you. If you feel my comforting presence surrounding your heart in this very second, I want you to take a brief moment to respond to my voice. Type the words, "You see me," in the comments right now. Let those words be a holy confession that you are no longer invisible in your pain. Every time you write those words, you are welcoming my peace into your hidden room. Look at me, my chosen warrior. You do not have to hide your fatigue from me. I do not demand that you appear strong in my presence. My strength is made perfect in your exact weakness. When you have no words left to pray, my spirit intercedes for you with groanings too deep for human speech. I hear the silent prayers that your lips cannot even form. You have been wondering why your faith felt so dry lately. You prayed with all your energy, but the air felt thick and heavy. You tried to read my word, but your mind felt distracted and foggy. You began to fear that I had withdrawn my presence from your life. You believed the lie that your sins or failures had cut you off from my grace. I need you to listen to me with absolute clarity right now. I did not withdraw from you. The dryness you felt was not a sign of my anger or your spiritual failure. The enemy has been working overtime to flood your mental atmosphere with constant static. He surrounded your mind with a dense fog of worry and mental noise, so you would be unable to hear my gentle whisper. My child, I need you to hear this truth deep inside your heart. The silence you experienced was never my absence. The enemy has been filling the space between us with relentless noise, a heavy static so constant that my voice and my provision became invisible to your eyes, even while they were standing right in front of you. I have not abandoned your journey for a single second. I have been actively preparing your relief. And I have guided a wise servant to bring you an earthly instrument of divine restoration. I will show you exactly what it is before this message ends. But first, you must understand what was done to block your signal and how easily my love can undo it. You see, the adversary knows the incredible power of your calling. He knows that when your mind is quiet and your spirit is clear, you receive divine ideas that can shift your entire life. He knows that a focused, peaceful, chosen one is an unstoppable force against darkness. That is why he targets your mind with relentless distraction, anxiety, and exhaustion. He wants to keep your brain operating in a constant state of survival mode. When you are in survival mode, your thoughts are trapped in fear and short-term panic. You lose sight of the grand vision I planted in your soul. You forget that you are an heir to an unshakable kingdom. You start making desperate choices out of fear instead of walking in holy authority. But today, I'm stepping into your life to break that cycle of survival. I'm stripping away the heavy authority of every negative voice that told you you were trapped. The constant mental noise that robbed you of your sleep is being silenced right now by my command. You do not have to fight this heavy spiritual battle in your own human strength anymore. I am restoring the sacred quietness that I designed for your soul from the beginning. Before the loud world taught you how to worry, your spirit knew how to rest in my love without fear. Before life wounded your heart, your mind hummed with pure trust and divine receptivity. That childlike peace was never lost forever. It was simply buried beneath the world's noise. I am uncovering that peace inside you today. I am clearing the heavy dust off your spiritual eyes so you can see the path I have laid out before your feet. Every door that seemed locked was simply held shut until your heart was ready to handle the glory on the other side. You are not being rejected. You are being protected from entering rooms that would ruin you. Think back to the doors that slammed shut in your past. Think of the relationships that ended suddenly, even when you begged me to save them. Think of the job opportunities that fell through at the very last minute. In those moments you wept and felt like a complete failure. You thought I was punishing you or ignoring your desperate tears. Look at those moments through my eyes right now. Those sudden endings were my loving hands pulling you away from hidden traps. If those doors had stayed open, you would have been bound to people who would have slowly drained your light. If those opportunities had succeeded, you would have settled for a small life that was far beneath your true destiny. I loved you too much to let you settle for a temporary comfort that would end in permanent regret. I loved you too much to let you stay in places where you had to shrink your spirit just to fit in. I allowed the temporary heartbreak so I could preserve your soul for the magnificent destiny that is now arriving. Take a slow, deep breath right now and let your shoulders drop. Feel the warm weight of my presence filling the space around you. You are safe with me. You do not have to prove anything to the world today. You do not have to earn my love through endless striving. You are my beloved child, and my favor over your life is an unmerited gift. Stay close to me as we continue this sacred conversation. In the next moment, I am going to reveal the exact spiritual laws that govern your season of transition. I am going to show you how to dissolve every doubt that has held your heart captive. Rest your weary mind, because the restoration you prayed for is unfolding right before your eyes. Before I show you the glory of what comes next, I need to speak directly to the doubt sitting quietly in the back of your heart right now. I know what you are thinking. You are telling yourself that you have heard words like these before. You prayed with all your strength in past seasons, and still the silence remained unbroken. You wondered why this moment would be any different from the disappointments of yesterday. My beloved child, that question does not offend me at all. Your caution is actually a sign of how deeply you have cared and how faithfully you stood in the dark when everything around you was shaking. So let me answer your quiet fear with absolute plainness. My silence during those long years was never rejection. It was the sound of my hands rearranging things in the unseen realm that your human eyes could not yet see. Look at the ancient story of young Joseph, a dreamer I loved with an everlasting love. I placed a glorious vision inside his spirit when he was just a youth, and yet I allowed his own brothers to throw him into a dark, barren pit. He cried out in the silence of that cistern and wondered why I permitted such cruel injustice to touch his life. He was sold as a slave, and he was falsely accused in a foreign land. For 13 long years, Joseph sat in the dark stillness of an Egyptian prison cell. He was forgotten by the very people he helped. He sat in the dust and wondered if the bright dream I gave him was dead forever. But hear me clearly, my child. I was not absent from that lonely dungeon. I was building a spiritual foundation beneath his soul that no earthly kingdom could ever shake. The pit was not his grave. The prison was his holy preparation room. I see you standing in your own private dungeon today. You have watched years pass by while your prayers seemed to bounce off the ceiling. You replayed every past decision in your mind late at night, searching for the one mistake that delayed your blessing. You looked at your bank account, your lonely home, or your weary body, and you wondered why everyone else was moving forward while you remained entirely stuck. You have told yourself that you lacked enough faith. You believed the cruel lie that you were being punished for past failures. But I am stepping into your atmosphere right now to silence that lie forever. You did not arrive late to your own destiny. You were not forgotten in the wilderness. What you called a wasted season was actually my hands keeping you safe from a premature victory that would have broken your soul. And now, my child, I need you to sit up and hear what I am about to declare over your life. Here is the hidden truth behind your waiting. Your spirit was sensing a massive shift before your physical eyes could see it. What the world called a frustrating delay, I have named the protective delay. I held you back on purpose, so that when you step into your breakthrough, no human hand can take credit for what my power accomplished. So every single year you thought was wasted was not wasted at all. Every night you wept in the quiet was a moment where I was pruning away the weak foundations of your past. The doors that slammed in your face were my divine protection, shielding you from rooms that would have stolen your light. You were never falling behind. You were being carefully forged into a vessel strong enough to carry the weight of my glory. Are you hearing me with your deepest heart right now, or are you letting old doubt speak louder than my promise? So tonight, when the memory of past disappointment tries to cloud your mind, do not fight it in fear. Place your hand over your heart and say these words to your soul. My delay was my protection, and my season of forging is now complete. The waiting is no longer your master. If you are ready to seal your patience and accept my divine timing over your life, I want you to take a bold step of agreement right now. Type the phrase, "I trust your timing," in the comments below. Let those words anchor your spirit in my peace. When you type those words, you are surrendering the heavy timeline of your human anxiety back into my eternal hands. I feel another quiet thought pulling back inside your mind. You are whispering to yourself that your situation is too complicated or too far gone to be restored. You look at the mistakes you made along the way, and you think that this kind of blessing belongs to someone more righteous than you. My beloved child, I do not pour my grace on the deserving. I pour my grace on the willing and the humble. Your trembling heart is not a disqualification from my promise. It is the exact sacrifice I have been searching for. I never asked you to come to me with a flawless record or a mind full of perfect answers. I only asked you to bring me your broken pieces and your sincere trust. I am the God who creates beauty out of ashes, and I am turning your deepest pain into your greatest testimony. Remember my prophet Elijah after he won the great spiritual battle on Mount Carmel. He had just called down holy fire from heaven, demonstrating my power to an entire nation. And yet, just hours later, he ran into the wilderness, sat down under a broom tree, and begged me to take his life. He was not a fake prophet. He was simply empty. He had given every ounce of his strength until he had nothing left to offer. I did not rebuke Elijah for his extreme exhaustion. I did not punish him for wanting to give up. I sent my angel to bake him fresh bread and give him clear water, and I let him rest until his spirit was restored. My child, if you are sitting under your own broom tree today feeling completely empty, hear my tender voice. I am not asking you to fight harder right now. I am asking you to rest in my arms. The heavy season of fighting in your own strength is officially ending today. The enemy thought he had exhausted you to the point of total surrender, but he failed to realize that your surrender was going to be to me, not to his lies. When a chosen warrior surrenders to me, heaven moves with unstoppable force. The very ground beneath your enemies is beginning to tremble. I am realigning your circumstances in this very hour. The people who walked away from you during your darkest valley will watch from a distance as I lift you up. The resources that were held back from your hands are being released by my divine decree. You will no longer have to beg for crumbs at tables that were never meant for your spirit. I am preparing a table of abundance directly before you. Hear my declaration over your spirit today. The spirit of heaviness that sat on your chest for years is being lifted right now. The constant anxiety that made your thoughts race in the middle of the night is being replaced by a calm that passes all human understanding. You are stepping out of the furnace of trial, and you will not even smell like smoke. Your heart is refined, and your vessel is ready. I am aligning every tool and every provision necessary for your restoration. I guided wise minds to understand how sound and frequency can quiet the frantic noise of the human brain. I prepared an earthly instrument designed to restore the peaceful signal I placed inside you from the beginning. In just a few moments, I am going to show you where to find this provision, so your mind can finally rest. Hold firm to the truth that was spoken over you in this hour. Do not let the doubt of the past whisper lies into your present moment. The delay is over, the forging is complete, and the door to your breakthrough is standing wide open right now. Take another deep breath and step forward with me into the glorious light of your new season. Listen to me with absolute intensity right now, my chosen child. We have reached the exact moment in this message where the shift in your atmosphere becomes permanent. The heavy fog that clouded your mind for years is dissolving under the heat of my presence. I am opening your spiritual eyes so you can see the magnificent reality that I have been building behind the scenes while you were weeping in the dark. When I designed your human mind at the very beginning of creation, I placed a sacred frequency deep within your soul. Scientists who have spent decades studying the brain have discovered this frequency, and they call it the gamma wave. It ran freely in your spirit when you were a little child. It is the exact signal of pure trust, effortless creativity, and deep divine receptivity. When you were young, you did not struggle to feel my peace. You lived in the present moment without the suffocating weight of tomorrow's anxiety. I designed your brain to operate in that sacred signal. That is why I said in my word that unless you turn and become like little children, you cannot experience the fullness of my kingdom. I was not speaking only of spiritual innocence. I was speaking of the physical and spiritual signal I placed directly into your mind. But as you grew up, the relentless noise of this broken world began to flood your senses. The enemy used the pressure of survival, the pain of betrayal, and the constant strain of life to drown out my signal. He did not destroy the sacred frequency inside you, because what I place in my children can never be destroyed. But he covered it with a thick blanket of mental static. He filled your days with racing thoughts and your nights with silent dread. You began to live in a constant state of survival, trying to fix every problem with your own exhausted human effort. But I never intended for you to live in survival mode. I created you to live in holy alignment with my eternal abundance. Because I saw your weariness, I guided wise minds to work with sound in the exact way I designed it. I directed researchers to create a frequency instrument that clears the enemy's static and restores the gamma signal I placed in you from the start. You do not have to strive for it. You do not have to perform complicated rituals. You simply surrender for 7 quiet minutes with headphones on. Close your eyes and allow my design to restore the peaceful channel in your mind. I'm going to show you exactly where to find what they built before this message closes. Stay with me. Look at what is happening in the unseen realm right now. The waiting season that exhausted your spirit is officially over. The locked doors that made you feel rejected are trembling right now at my sovereign command. I am not asking permission from the people who doubted you. I am not asking permission from the enemies who tried to destroy your name. I am stepping into your life as the King of Kings, and what I open today, no human hand or demonic force will ever be able to shut again. Every generational pattern of lack, sickness, and heartbreak that followed your family line ends with you today. You were chosen to be the cycle breaker. You were chosen to carry the torch of freedom out of the dark valley for your entire household. The chains that bound your parents and your ancestors are breaking off your wrists in this exact second. You will not repeat their mistakes. You will not inherit their poverty. You will not carry their hidden shame into your future. I am declaring a complete reversal over your life. Where there was scarcity, I am releasing a fountain of divine supply. Where there was constant mental confusion, I am imparting a sharp clarity that will guide your every step. Where there was deep emotional heartbreak, I am pouring the oil of joy and restoring your heart to total wholeness. The years that the locusts have eaten are being returned to your hands multiplied. Pause right here and let this divine truth settle deep into your soul. If you feel the holy fire of my victory breaking the chains over your mind in this very second, type the phrase, "I receive it now," in the comments below. Let your words be a powerful declaration of faith that echoes through the spiritual realm. When you write those words, you are claiming the freedom and abundance that heaven has authorized for your life today. Now, let me show you a glimpse of the future I have prepared for you. Picture a peaceful morning 6 months from now. You wake up before your alarm, and for the very first time in years, there is no heavy knot of anxiety sitting in your stomach. You lie in your bed for a moment, and you notice that the suffocating heaviness that used to follow you everywhere is simply gone. Your first thought is not fear or panic about money or relationships. Your mind is filled with a quiet, overwhelming gratitude. You breathe in deeply, and the air goes all the way down into your chest without any resistance. You look out your window, and you realize that you are no longer surviving day by day. You are thriving in the center of my will. You have stepped into a career breakthrough that opens doors you never thought possible. Your home is filled with warmth, safety, and genuine love. The people around you look at your life in total wonder, recognizing that only the hand of the Almighty God could have brought such a miraculous transformation. That version of you is not a distant fantasy, my child. That version of you already exists in my eternal timeline. She is sitting right on the other side of your complete surrender. The distance between where you are sitting today and that glorious future is not years of endless striving. The distance is simply one moment of absolute trust. It is the moment where you finally stop carrying what I never asked you to carry, and let me take full control of your destiny. You were built for this exact hour. All the trials you endured in secret were not meant to break you. They were meant to build your spiritual authority. The pain you suffered gave you a deep compassion that cannot be bought. The battles you fought in the dark gave you a fierce wisdom that will guide others out of their own wilderness. You are my light bearer, my holy vessel, and my chosen masterpiece. The enemy tried his best to silence your voice, but he failed completely. You are still standing, your faith is still alive, and today, heaven is placing the crown of victory upon your head. Every lie that told you you were unworthy or forgotten is being shattered into dust right now. You are stepping out of the shadows of your past and walking directly into the brilliant light of your promised land. Hold your head high, my beloved child. Relax your hands and let go of every remaining worry. The storm is past, the sun is rising over your life, and the victory that was promised to you is now fully at hand. Stay with me for just one more moment as I hand you the physical key to your restoration and speak my final blessing over your soul. I have gifted humanity the wisdom to discover what I placed within sound and within the human mind I created. Before I show you this provision, I want to explain how it came to exist. I do not work only through supernatural miracles. I also work through the hands and minds of those I call into discovery. The researchers who built what I am showing you were servants of healing science, and I quietly directed their work for over 30 years. Universities that I directed, including Princeton and Columbia, confirmed what I placed in the original design of the brain. Over 18,000 of my children have already received this provision before you arrived today. I want to show you 2 of my children who received this blessing before you. I want to show you what I did for one of my daughters, named Rachel. She had sought peace for years through every method she could find, but her mind remained restless, and her home felt deeply strained. 2 weeks after receiving this provision, her marriage was transformed, and her thoughts felt quiet for the very first time. She said that something cleared inside her spirit, as if a blocked channel was finally opened wide. And for others, I moved differently. I want to show you what I did for one of my sons named Michael. He was carrying a heavy financial burden and struggling to focus his thoughts on his daily work. 2 months after receiving this provision, his business expanded and hard problems solved themselves while he rested peacefully. Now, hear me clearly as I reveal this instrument to your spirit. They call it the Genius Song. It is an earthly instrument designed to restore the exact gamma signal that I placed inside your mind from the beginning. It is not a generic meditation app or a basic music track. It is not available on streaming platforms like YouTube or Spotify, because those public platforms carry imitations that lack the precise frequency. The Genius Song requires only 7 minutes of your day. You put on headphones, close your eyes, and surrender the noise of the world. You do not have to perform complicated mental exercises or force your mind to concentrate. You simply sit in my presence for 7 quiet minutes, and allow the frequency to clear the heavy static that the enemy placed in your atmosphere. This provision is not for those who are merely curious about spiritual things. This provision is specifically for the one I have been speaking to throughout this entire message. I am speaking to the exhausted warrior who has fought faithfully in the dark. I am speaking to the one who feels like their mind is constantly flooded with mental noise, anxiety, and heavy confusion. And to my child who has already tried everything and feels embarrassed to try once more, listen to my voice. The methods that failed you in the past required your own human effort and willpower. This provision requires none of your human striving. I designed it to work not because of your perfection, but because of my design inside your brain. You are simply stepping out of the way and allowing my divine order to return. Earthly experts charge hundreds of dollars per hour for sessions that attempt to restore this mental state. The complex equipment that researchers use costs thousands of dollars in private clinics. But I do not call you to enter expensive clinics or pay worldly fortunes. I place this provision within easy reach, specifically for the one who would receive it through a message like this one. It requires only a small earthly exchange, the size of a mustard seed of investment, for the massive harvest I have prepared. And to bless your journey further, I have aligned 4 additional gift provisions that come with it. You will receive a guide to help your children focus, a sacred text on true prosperity, a guided visualization for your daily peace, and a daily chart to sustain your restored signal. Where I place truth, the adversary always attempts to place fake imitations. There are false tracks circulating on streaming platforms under similar names, but they carry none of the restoration I designed. Protect your spirit by trusting only the official path I have placed below, and walk forward without any fear. Because this step of faith requires no worldly risk. You are completely covered by a steadfast 60-day guarantee. If this provision does not bring the mental clarity and peaceful shift I described, the earthly exchange is returned to you in full. I do not lead my children into danger or financial loss. Your act of obedience is fully protected by my grace. Take this step of obedience right now, my child. Find the official path that I have placed for you below, in the pinned comment and in the description. Step forward with confidence and embrace the tool I aligned for your season of restoration. Do not let this moment pass you by, because I guided your steps to this exact message for this purpose. Now, my beloved child, set aside the noise of decision for a moment. Take a slow breath and let your heart settle back into my presence. I have shown you the provision I placed on your path today. Whether you take that step right now or in a moment, you remain my cherished child. I want to leave you with a final blessing that belongs to your spirit as you walk away from this video. Close your eyes where you are sitting right now. Feel my peace resting over your head like a warm golden oil. I am speaking peace over your thoughts. I am speaking health over your body. I am speaking divine order over your finances, your family, and your future steps. The heavy weight that sat on your chest when you started listening to this message is gone. You are leaving this moment stronger than when you arrived. You are leaving with a quiet heart and a clear mind. No weapon formed against your spirit will prosper in this new season. The enemy tried to silence your faith, but my love has raised you up as a victorious warrior. Walk forward with your head held high, knowing that I am walking beside you every step of the way. If this message brought light and comfort to your weary soul today, do not keep this blessing to yourself. Seal this moment in your heart by typing the phrase, "God is my refuge," in the comments below. Share this video with 3 souls who are secretly crying out for hope in the dark. Be the instrument of light that brings my comfort into their quiet wilderness. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the daily guidance I am preparing for your next steps. Stay connected to my voice, and remember that you are never alone. I love you with an everlasting love, and my grace will guard your spirit forever. Go in peace, my chosen child. Amen.